It is 1:17. I am 2 minutes late, but we are here regardless. Welcome to the Sports Hour. Yes, I do have shorter hair now, so I shouldn't be running my hands through it so much, but yes, we are here. Same look, different location instead. Um, Changing up the Wi-Fi we're using, so we're going to be doing a lot of testing and making sure that works, and maybe we give it a little 5 minutes to, make sure it works before we jump right into it. I don't know if you noticed the jersey I'm wearing. Victor Wembanyama, Spurs jersey. Because I really do think this guy's going to be a future top 10, top 15 at worst player of all time. I think he's goated. I think he's going to be so good. I will have to duck out for a second to get my phone, because that has all the information I need on it. So we're going to go get that. So give me 1 second. Click the wrong button. There we go. We're back. We're ready to go. Very excited for this episode, as we've got quite a lot to talk about and some upcoming changes coming to the Sports Hour. So, the big changes. I'm just trying to piece together in my head how to phrase them, as we're now completely ready to go. We're going to be seeing changes to the format, as I am getting jobs again. I'm working regular jobs. I'm not going to be able to do this during, work hours. So the show is going to have to change from what it is now to the after hours show with Curtis Collings. This is Meatloaf, my cat. He loves to walk on computers. So we're going to try to prevent that here. Play a little defense against the cat as he goes and sits on my other computer. If you do hear meowing, it was, of course, is my cat Meatloaf. I also forgot my water over there. I don't care to grab it. So, here we go. Yes, the loaf appearance. The first loaf appearance ever. So it in my mind, we're going to be doing this show most likely 7 to 8, 8 to 9. And it might not be an hour. It might be 30 minutes. It might be 15 minutes. Really, it's whatever I feel like talking about and however long I feel like talking about it. Of course, the Sports Hour today will still be till 12:15. We're going to talk for an hour. But that's going to be the changes going forward. We'll change up the look here. Although I just got really happy with it. We will change it up going forward. So yeah, there's the big changes, the big announcement for the Sports Hour, as we will get into the sports themselves here. Get the brooms out for Baltimore. Get out of here as we sweep the Orioles. It is a good day to be a Blue Jays fan. Let me tell you that much right now. As Friday, a 6-1 victory. Talk about getting the offense involved. Chris Bassett, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts, 1 walk in 5 innings. Beautiful outing. Beautiful outing. Of course, they'd give up the 1 run. But we're okay with that, because he gave the offense a chance to win, and the offense took that chance and won, to say the least. Looking at the home run hitters, no home runs in this one. It was just a solid night from everyone. Straw getting an RBI, Clement getting an RBI, Vladdy getting an RBI, Varsho, 2 of them things. Yeah, fun day for the Blue Jays on the first game of the triple series here. That's not what it is. The 3-game series. As the next game did require some heroics. Of course, this was the first game that I had to miss. Usually I get to watch all the weekend games, but I had to miss this one because I was doing my own baseball commentary for the Waterloo Warriors, which super fun. I love doing it, but I did unfortunately have to miss what turned out to be a stellar game. As there we go, a little bit more centered. There we go. Now we're plugged in, and now we're not plugged in. Hold on. Okay, we're plugged in officially. Had to make sure my laptop wasn't dying as we keep her going here. And in this game, a 5-4 victory. Max Scherzer, 5 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks, 4 hits. Gave the Jays offense a chance to win, 2 earned runs. It's not great. It's not the sexiest number, but 1-0 is the sexiest number, obviously. But we also like 1, and we also, we'll live with 2. 3 is where I start to say, all right, let's clean this up. And so 2 here from Scherzer. Fisher would get the win in this one. He would give up a run, but of course the Jays would walk it off for him. That would be Kirky in this one, getting the walk-off in a wild 9th inning. A wild game. This is one of those ones where it's like, go watch the highlight tape. It'll do more than I ever can to explain how wild this game was. So yeah, second game, absolutely crazy game. Could not believe it. This was the game that ended in the bottom of the 9th. Not the game with the Vladdy heroics, I don't think. But it did have a huge at-bat from guys like Luperfido and Andres Jimenez. George Springer reached on on catcher's interference. Yes, special guest appearance from the ML Meatloaf himself. And then, yes, a walk-off sac fly. And this was a game that my girlfriend was watching with her family. And after the game, the interviewer was interviewing Kirk, who was stopped using a translator or interpreter and just, takes the interviews now himself. And the interviewer said, how did you do it? And Kirk said, I wanted to do it. And so in my girlfriend's family, that is now their vocal stim that they will just walk around the house constantly saying. So that's pretty entertaining. So shout out to Kirky there. He wanted to do it. He wanted to be in that situation. And then the next day, Sunday, it doesn't get much easier than when you win 11-2. The run's not coming until the 3rd inning in this one. Shout out to Suarez for Baltimore. 2 clean innings. And then the 3rd inning would not be good afterwards. As, Blue Jays in the 3rd inning, 1 run. The 4th inning, 2. 5th run, 1. 6th inning, 1. 7th inning, 6. And then that would be the nail in the coffin. Baltimore still fought back. They scored 1 in the 2nd inning. That's Shane Bieber, who would pitch another win for the Blue Jays. 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, with 5 strikeouts and 1 walk. Not the same 9 strikeout heroics that we saw before, and like we will be seeing as we get into, what's next. But we won't get ahead of ourselves. We'll stick to the Baltimore talks. We all know what went down last night, though. All Blue Jay fans. If you don't know, you will know. Don't step on my computer, buddy. Don't do it. Yeah, you can walk around my computer. Don't walk on my computer. See, now we're good. Okay. The Meatloaf interruption. So, get the brooms out because as we just went over... Blue Jays 3 games in a row against Baltimore, and then that set us up where if we won the next. You can make sure this cat is as healthy as ever. He is on. Oh, was on my lap. He just escaped, as you can see. Anyways, get the brims out because we beat them 3 games. The 11 runs. Oh my goodness, what a game. We'll just say who earned those runs. I mean, I guess who cashed them in. The RBI leaders for this game were Barger and Clement with 3 apiece. We also saw Springer and Luperfido with 2 RBIs themselves. And then guys like Kirk with 1. Beautiful, beautiful game. Yeah, but we pushed through, co-host or not. He's more of a morale guy than a professional, which, locker room guy. We'll take. I got a notification. I don't think it's here anymore. It was from a Sleeper, and they were talking about how amazing Ernie Clement has been in the month of September. And I will be able to find it. It's in my notes here. And this does not include the game that we saw last night, but it does include everything beforehand. As going through a lot of stuff here. I guess I lost it, but he's bound 900 OPS in the month of September. He's one of the best hitters we have in the lineup right now. It is unreal. And then, yeah, props to the bullpen. The entire series against Baltimore were just lights out, like you said there. I mean, looking at it, the game Friday, the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, no runs allowed. The game on Saturday, we would allow runs in the 8th and 9th. Not great. And Ernie's playing through a broken hand. Yes, because he was resting that big time. He did miss some time. And the moment he was healthy enough to play, he came in. So that Saturday game, not the greatest from our bullpen. Gave up runs in the 8th and 9th, but we won anyway. So, we almost despite our bullpen. And then the 11-2 game, we gave up a run in the 7th, and then the 8th and 9th were clean. So, very happy there. Confidence is rising in both the bullpen and the batting. Don't walk on my computer. Which is a very good feeling. We're good now. Co-host out of the way, just covering me in hair. So yeah, confidence is rising. The bats are coming through big time. And then the starting pitching, I mean, it's as good as ever. And then, I mean, the bullpen is doing its thing, and it's working. So, hey, props to the team. Coming together when they need it most, too. So, coming into the game yesterday, where I got to lead it on, with sometimes it takes a little extra, but we get the job done anyways, as we win Trey Savage's debut against the Tampa Bay Rays. 2-1 in 11 innings. Trey Savage, 5 innings pitched, 3 hits allowed, 1 run earned in the first inning, 9 strikeouts, 2 walks. He's younger than me. The Macho Man Trey Savage was born July 2003. He is older than I am, and he struck 9 guys out in his MLB debut. We love the Macho Man Trey Savage around here. So his debut would start with a single to center by Simpson, and then a 1-run double lined into right by Diaz, who Diaz had his number. We'll be honest with each other, but no one else really did. After that, a 3-pitch strikeout, a walk, and then 2 groundouts to the shortstop to get out of his first inning. After that, it would be groundout, strikeout, strikeout, groundout, walk, strikeout, 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 flyout, strikeout, and then his final inning of work would be a single, a strikeout, No, it would be a single by Diaz, and then he would get the yank for Little. So he would make it all the way until the bottom of the 6th inning, and then get the yank. I know this start was to determine where he fits in the pitching staff, but do we consider starting him going forward? So the plan moving forward, from all things considered, was to have him start regularly to close out the season. If I recall correctly, there was an injury with one of the Blue Jays pitching. And we've been talking about that. He has been starting for a long time, and he's been getting long relief in the minors for the last little bit in Buffalo, but he's definitely set to start, in my opinion. Just looking through the pitching injuries, of course, Yimi Garcia is injured. He's the big one. Yeah, it doesn't look like anyone else is down. So it looks like we will still, of course, have Gausman, Bassett, Barrios, Scherzer, and now you Savage to add to the mix, and Bieber. So pitching conversation gets even more interesting. In my opinion, of course, in the playoffs, you Savage, Bassett is injured. Yes, okay, that's who it was that went down. So that's why Savage is making his way up and getting some big-time starts. Thank you so much for the pointer. Just looking up what Bassett's injury is looking like right now. No, Bassett's healthy. No reports coming out. He pitched Saturday. He pitched, the 12th. He pitched on Friday. 5 innings of work, 6 strikeouts, 1 earned run. Of course, I could be missing something, maybe. But from everything I see, the 36-year-old is holding strong. No reports on him being injured. So that's what we mean. He wasn't feeling the best. Well, when you type Bassett into Google and you click news, nothing's coming up. And when you look at Chris Bassett on fantasy, there are no reports about him being day-to-day, game-time decision, on the IL, or injured. No reports even about him being injured. So I think we're good with our 6th-starting pitcher. And so we're seeing Bassett spoke with reporters, sharing that he was not feeling his best at this time of year. The team wants to make sure whoever's on the mound is fully healthy. And that was after his most recent game. So not a ton of super popular reports about it, but if these are direct quotes to be believed, then these are direct quotes to be believed for Chris Bassett. We'll have to monitor him going forward, obviously. Savage looks like he's going to be plenty good to take over these starts. I mean, I'm not worried one bit. 9 strikeouts in his debut. Beautiful. I mean, watching it, I was texting everyone I knew to text, just saying, like, throw this game on, and, like, this is special. And it was a special appearance. Not something you see very often. Especially not from a 22-year-old pitcher, a guy that just turned 22 2 months ago. So special. Watch out for Macho Man Trey Savage. See if he, gets in for another start before the playoffs start. Hopefully 2 starts. And yeah, the Fish, Brendan Fisher coming in the 11th inning to clutch up the game and give us the win. Of course, coming in the bottom of the 11th. The clutch winning run would, of course, be from Springer, as in the inning you would see a line out to center from Heineman, a line out to left from Jimenez for 2 quick outs, and then a 1-run single line to left to score Ernie Clement. That was on second with the extra innings base runner rule, and then a ground out immediately after that by Lucas to end the inning. But that's all it would take, as a single would advance Let me see here. Would that advance the runner? It would. It would advance the runner to third, and then 3 straight strikeouts. Doesn't get much better than that. That's what you call no stress outs, really. The ball never ends up in play. You never got to worry about it rolling through the infield. You never got to worry about it lining into a gap. Just 3 straight strikeouts. Ends the game, and the Blue Jays pick up a huge, earned, might I add, win. So, Trey Savage is the truth. Ernie Clement getting his hottest at the most important time. Please ride this into the playoffs, and I'll be so vindicated for supporting you all season long, being an Ernie Clement guy. Pit stop, side note, let's take a quick look at Ernie Clement's WAR. As the fun fact early in the year for the Toronto Blue Jays is that Ernie Clement was leading the team in WAR, wins above replacement. Of course, that's because of his defensive versatility. He accounts for a lot of defensive runs saved with both second base, third base, and occasional shortstop. Decent glove work. He's not a slouch out there. He also is good on the base paths. I mean, scoring the winning run yesterday. And then he's been very good with his bat this year. One of the more underrated hitters in our lineup. I think, of course, the most underrated hitter in the lineup has been Lucas, but, I mean, he's being promoted to second. So maybe he's not. Maybe it is Ernie as the most underrated hitter. So in WAR, he's at 3.7 wins above replacement, which is above his number of last year, which is 3.4. Cooled off a bit. He was at like 2.3 after 2 months of play. He was on fire to start this season. But currently, I mean, 9 home runs, 46 RBI from your utility infielder. But the more important part, and the part that I love, is the fact that he plays everyday ball. 145 games played with 146 plate appearances, 506 at-bats. In that time of being a regular everyday MLB player, he bats a .297, a 31.4% on base percentage. His slugging is a .401. His OPS, 715. For a guy that hits 789, you kill for guys like these if you're a playoff team. These are the guys that win you playoff games because they get on base before your stars do. It's guys like these that are so underrated. Where it's guys like, and unfortunately so, where they were so elite in the outfield. Guys like Santiago Espinal, so elite in the field, just could not get on base enough. Not with his bat and not with walks. Where a guy like Ernie Clement will actually do that. Now, his OPS plus is 94. He is 6 percentiles worse than the average hitter. He makes up for it with being a utility infielder. But yeah, he's one of my guys. Has been for a while. If we look at the Toronto Blue Jays statistics, sorted by WAR, he is third on the team, above Bo Bichette, above Dalton Varsho, above Alejandro Kirk. So WAR, flawed stats sometimes, if we're being honest with each other. Who's more valuable? Alejandro Kirk, yes. But who contributes to more wins on a day-to-day basis? Who's to say it's not Ernie Clement? Because what if we did have a guy like Espinal in that spot instead, who can't get on base? Jimenez is not a good hitter either, but he's still a better hitter than Espinal ever was. That's the value, and that's why this team is better than last year's team. Just simply based on that, our guys that are infield reliable fielders actually get on base sometimes and actually get clutch base hits sometimes, Jimenez especially. Speaking of Jimenez, for WAR, he's 12th on the team with a 1. He's solely based on his fielding pretty much. If you are curious who is first, it is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. with a 4.9. Second is George Springer with a 4.2. If George Springer played every single day, had the 145 game mark instead of the 128 game, who's to say he doesn't have more than Vladdy, as he is unreal this year. 29 home runs, 76 RBI for a man that is closer to retirement than being drafted. George Springer, the 35-year-old. Love it. What a story this season. I can't gush enough about the Blue Jays. And then after the win last night, I can't actually keep gushing. With Bo Bichette leading the league in hits and doubles. Unreal stuff. I can't actually keep gushing about them as the Yankees lose 7-0, and it makes me very happy because that means that the Blue Jays are now, correct me if I'm wrong, 7 wins away from winning the American League East. And we're 9 wins away from winning the American League outright. And we're, 4 wins away from making the playoffs and clinching the playoffs? What a season. What a good year to be a Jays fan. If you are a longtime listener of me, just in general, then you would know that I spent time on CJIQ, the Conestoga radio station. And you would know that I went through my ups and downs this offseason of being a Blue Jay fan and not being a Blue Jay fan. And then being, they pull you back in. And they did that for me. I was literally on air when they signed Vladdy, or at least I was doing on-air shifts. And they signed Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and I'm like, all right, I'm a fan again. I'm in for this season. We're going to be a playoff team. And if we're not, whatever. I'm a Blue Jay fan again because we signed Vladdy. And hey, it's worked out. So that'll end my Blue Jay talk. Pretty satisfied with that. I am going to take just a quick 1-minute break to grab water. So make sure you stay tuned because when we do come back, we will talk about 2 steps back, 1 step forwards. Bryce and T-Mac, Chuba Hubbard, and the first home game coming up next week as we dedicate the rest of our time here on the Curtis Collings Presents the Sports Hour to football. So, yes, give me 1 minute. I'll be right back. All right, time to explain what this means. If you're just sitting here, listening to me talk, more likely than not, you have read the topics for the episode. I mean, when I watched, I made this hair way too poofy. When I watched Pardon the Interruption growing up, I would read ahead for every single topic because I was always curious. And so, because we're talking about football, this, of course, pertains to the Panthers and how this season has gone so far. That first game, an early interception leads to early points against. An early 10-3 lead. That's 2 steps backwards. At the end of the game, we get a touchdown, and the offense finally started clicking. Just a tiny little bit. There was 1 step forward. And then we see this game against the Arizona Cardinals, where we start with a fumble. That gets recovered for a touchdown. And then we throw an interception. And we go down 27-3. I'm just going to call it 2 steps backwards, but more likely than not, that's like 4 or 5 steps backwards. We're being real with each other. Very disappointing way to start a game. But then we'd lock in. The defense would actually take a step forward and not allow a single point for the rest of the game. We would shut down Marvin Harrison Jr., shockingly enough. 2 games in a row. Number 1 wide receiver. Shut down. Of course, that first game against the Jaguars, we held Brian Thomas Jr. to 1 catch and 1 rush. Of course, he did get his touchdown on that 1 rush. Boo! But it's a jet sweep, and we're bad at defending the rush. You know what we're good at defending? Number 1 wide receivers. So that first game, 7 targets, 1 reception for 11 yards. And then this second game here, Marvin Harrison Jr. Keep in mind, Marvin Harrison Jr., very good wide receiver. A little disappointing as a rookie, but still, like, good. Very good as a rookie. Better than some other rookies that I know and cheered for. He had 885 yards and 8 touchdowns. That's good. Like, that's good. I can't hate on that. In his first game of the year, he had 5 catches for 71 yards and a touchdown, and he played great. In his second game, 5 targets, so 1 less target, only 2 catches for 27 yards. Shut down. So yeah, shout out to the defense. They actually did step up huge. And then the offense did the same. Bryce threw for a career high 328 yards, if I'm not mistaken. 3 touchdowns to the 1 interception. No turnovers. After the first 2 turnovers, he completely cleaned it up and played a great game from there on out. Tedero McMillan, 10 targets, 6 catches, 100 yards exactly. He hit stick the defender. He ran for a bunch of yards after the catch. He looked fantastic. Oh my goodness. But again, it's 2 steps backwards because and then 1 step forward because we only take 1 step forward. We lost. It all came down to the final drive. We got down to the about 45, 50-yard line when we couldn't get the first down, as we fell on 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th to lose the game on a sack. Unfortunate way to end it on what would have been the most miraculous comeback of the season. You know, Patriots level comeback, 27-3, 28-3. You know, but what's it meant to be? But it gives me confidence. Anyways, we will gush about Bryce McMillan. Bryce and Tedero McMillan. Bryce Young and Tedero McMillan, because they were so good together. There was one throw on the sideline that was like a huge one-handed catch by Tedero McMillan that wasn't in bounds, unfortunately. But it's that sort of stuff that makes me just, you know, it's going to be special. It's the type of thing where it's like the moment they start clicking all that much more, like they're already clicking. But the moment they click that much more, he's going to go off for like 100 yards regularly and start getting touchdowns. The sad part was on that last drive in the 4th quarter, we targeted him one time, which was, really disappointing. Really disappointing. So moving forward, let's target him more. Because, that's trash-ola. But it will be great. Just had to deal with something there. And we'll mute this phone now. It keeps going off. But no, these 2 are going to be special. It's going to be a really special connection. And shout out to Hunter Renfrow as well. 2 touchdowns. Cleaned up his drops. Could have had more catches in this game, but that's neither here nor there. We'll enjoy the 2 touchdown. I think 40-yard performance, but everything we've needed from our slot receiver while Jalen Coker is down. And right now, he honestly, let's keep Hunter Renfrow in the slot when Jalen Coker comes back and just put Jalen Coker in as the wide receiver 2 over Xavier Leggett. We don't need him to be the wide receiver 2 anymore. I'm so sick of watching him. It's just frustrating at this point. Negative yards, if you want to be exact, for Xavier Leggett, because I want to be exact. 8 targets, 1 catch, -2 yards. 1 rushing attempt, no yards. In his first game, 7 targets, 3 receptions, 10 yards. It's been an abysmal start to the year for our wide receiver too. Our first round pick from last season. Um, it's just I can't believe it. It just ugh. We are meant to have a surplus of wide receivers this year in Carolina. And so far we've had the opposite. And it makes me lose my mind. The moment Jalen Coker comes back, I'm way more confident in this group. Bryson Tremaine, he's actually played really good when he stepped up. So shout out to him, I guess. But they got to pick it up. They got to stop taking 2 steps back to start every single game. And you know what? You know what would have solved this? If we played in the preseason. If we played our starters in the first half of all 3 preseason games, we would have probably come out and won both of these games. As we've only given up 26 and 27 points. For this Panthers defense, that's damn good. Of course, it's not great. And it's not really giving our offense a chance to compete that heavy. We need to be able to win games 23-21 here and there. And not 31-28 and 31-27. Because that's a little bit more unrealistic, if we're being honest with each other. But yeah, it's frustrating because I know there's potential for greatness here within this team. I know they have the potential to put it all together at the same time and win a game for me and for Panthers fans. Will they do it? I don't know. A big reason why it didn't happen against Arizona was because we could not get the run game going. That is why we went down 27-3. We had 2 early turnovers that led to a field goal and a field goal. Shockingly enough, neither a touchdown. But we couldn't score because after the turnovers stopped, we couldn't get first downs. We couldn't run the ball to get us close enough to a first down, and we couldn't get completions to start the game. Bryce Young had to throw the ball 55 times for 35 completions, which is disappointing. We don't like to see that. But we need to see Chuba Hubbard. And then the biggest reason I say Chuba, come on, man. And I'll make an update. I said that we were going to have a betting video every week. I'm making a change because I don't really think there's enough content for weekly videos, but I think we can make a really solid wrap-up year Panthers/betting year retrospective video. Seeing as the years are going eerily similar. As in our first game, we went over 3, and it felt like the Panthers went over 3. As it was a bad bet. This bet, a great bet. We went 3 for 4. And if Chuba Hubbard could have gone it going just at all, had maybe 1 or 2 big rushes, maybe this hits. Because I had Bryce Young, 200-plus passing yards. He had 300. Chuba Hubbard, anytime touchdown score. He caught a touchdown. Tedderall McMillan, 70-plus receiving yards. He had 100. And Bryce and Chuba Hubbard, 80-plus rushing yards. You know how many he had? Under 40. He had under 40. Chuba Hubbard, the man who was so excellent last year and has not been bad so far this year, has been very solid because of his receiving upside, which who would have thought? Rushing so far, in his first game, 16 attempts for 57 yards. In his second game, 10 rushing attempts for 38 yards. Just because we threw all the time. In both games, the first game, he had 5 targets, 3 receptions for 32 yards and a touchdown. And then in this second game here, he had 6 targets for 5 receptions, 39 yards and a touchdown. Combined, he had 77 yards, if my math is correct. And it is. So even his combined yards wouldn't have hit my bet. And honestly, I kind of thought that was the safest part of the bet because our game last year against Arizona, his last game of the season, Chuba Hubbard, he rushed for 152 yards. I thought, oh, he's going to get 80. That's no problem. Come on. And then he did not. So I think that was a big part of us losing the game was we could not get that rush game going. We had a huge loss in huge loss in right guard. Robert Hunt being injured. I'm pretty sure Brady Christensen is going to be getting the start there. And then a loss in center. Not as huge because Cade Mays got the start and looked fantastic. He looked way better than Austin Corbett did. So rest up, Austin Corbett. I hope the injury isn't serious, but it looks like Cade Mays is going to be the guy moving forward. So that's a addition by subtraction there. But Robert Hunt is one of the best guards in the entire league. That is heartbreaking to be missing out on him right now. So the O-line was already kind of a point of contention this year. It's not been good like it was last year, especially with Icky being injured. Yosh on the left tackle, not great. It's going to have to hold strong. As we do have our first home game of the year against the Falcons. I'm very excited for it. I think we have a very good chance to pick up our first win of the season. The Falcons coming into this one are 1-1. Their quarterback, Michael Penix. I wanted to say Penix. I really did. I like calling him Michael Penix as a joke. I really didn't want to do it there. It just rolled off the tongue because I find it too funny not to. He's had one good game, one bad game. As that first game, a loss. He threw for 298 yards, a passing touchdown, and a rushing touchdown. No interceptions, no fumbles, and the Falcons would lose, funny enough. And then this game against the Vikings, the Falcons would win 22-6. He would throw for 13 completions on 21 attempts for 135 yards. No passing touchdowns, no interceptions, no rushing touchdowns, no rushing yards, but a win. This Falcons team is very strange. Very strange. It's this one man that's going to really kill us, and his name is Bijan Robinson. He rushed for 124 yards and a touchdown his first game, and then rushed for 168 yards his second game. I'm nervous about how much damage he's going to do. We did holds the Cardinals to under 200 rushing yards. I almost said rushing yards, but no. We held them under 200 rushing yards as a team. Our first time doing that in like 15 weeks going back to last year. So that's pretty cool. We'll take that. We're going to lose that. I think on his own, Bijan might go for 200 yards against us. So we'll see. But if we limit everything else around him other than, his rushing abilities, then, hey, we can win this game. We beat them week 18 last year. If Bryce plays with confidence like he did last game, he looked fantastic if you asked me, then we have a real chance to win. Tedrick Millen, use him even more. Target him 15, 16, 17 times. Screw it. Why not? I liked the game of Jatavion Sanders. He had a good amount of yards, good amount of catches. He did have another bad drop. He's making this a bad habit, frustratingly so. But so far on the season, not bad. In that last game, 9 targets, 7 receptions, 54 yards was a really good target up the middle. I'll take it, And then the touchdowns, of course, going to Hunter Renfrow and Chuba Hubbard in the air. And that was all 3 touchdowns that we would score. I was trying to look up exactly how much yards Renfrow has in that last game, which was 48 total on 9 targets, 7 receptions as well. Bryce Young really good for spreading around the ball in this offense and finding who truly is open. Much better for not forcing the ball that game, aside from the 1 interception he did throw, which is frustrating enough. The big problem really is just the secondary. It's Morig's not bad. Nick Scott is one of the worst defensive players in the league, I think. Frustratingly so, but we push on, we prevail. as it should be a good game. And yes, got to take care of business at home against the Falcons. You're absolutely correct. It's gonna be a close game. Going to be a close game. Unless we blow them out. I don't think we get blown out. I think our offense will come alive in this game. I don't have any predictions for you yet because it's literally the day after games wrapped up yesterday. Which yesterday, 2 fun games. That Buccaneers-Texans game, super fun. A 1-point win for the Buccaneers. And then that Chargers-Raiders game, a little bit less fun. A little bit more boring. And legit question marks around Ashton Genty. We'll talk about that in a second. Before we'll answer this question, do we consider this a must-win for the Panthers? We do. We cannot start 0-3. We cannot. If we want to be a 9-8 win team, 0-3 ruins those hopes. So this is a must-win game, and then game 4 of the season, week 4 against the Patriots, must win as well. We gotta be 2-2 heading into our games against the Dolphins, who in the power rankings are last place, 32nd ranked. We are currently 29th ranked, which is unfair. I think we're better than the Jets still, but whatever. So yeah, must win here against the Falcons, must win against the Patriots, and then we got to beat the Dolphins, and then have a good game against the Cowboys, and then maybe against the Cowboys, if we're 3-3 after 6 weeks, then I'm less worried. But speaking of worried, Raiders fans, Ashton Genty, he doesn't quite look the same as he did when he was in college, if we're being honest with each other. He's only had like a few plays here and there where it's like, whoa, that's Ashton Genty. But other than that, I don't know. I don't think he's looking good. And this is something I was afraid of, that he could be on bus watch, but maybe it's just a slow start because Marianne Hampton also having a slow start to his career. For Ashton Genty, his first game of his career was not sexy, but he got a touchdown, 40 yards rushing and a touchdown. And then his second game was 44 yards and no touchdowns. And it's not like there's any other rushing game really going on. Luave getting 17 yards on 2 receptions as a running back, no carries. Zamir White got 2 carries for 13 yards. It's maybe not the greatest offense in the world. They got a bunch of yards against the Patriots, but the Patriots maybe had a really bad defense, and maybe we'll keep our eye on that. And of course, this Chargers team is much better. I mean, much better than the Patriots are. Speaking of the Chargers and speaking of Marianne Hampton, my guy from North Carolina, Najee Harris had 48 yards on 8 carries. Hampton had 8 carries of his own for 25 yards. So it's been a slow start. That first game, he had 15 carries for 61 yards. Still looking for his first career touchdown. Both guys starting their careers off a little slow. Henderson, he's looking great for the Patriots. Although not the greatest game in the world against the Dolphins, where the Patriots did pick up a 33-27 win. Ramondre Stevenson had 11 carries for 142 yards, an unreal performance, and kind of taken over that lead running back spot again from our boy from Ohio State. 3 carries for 40 yards, and then 2 receptions for 30 yards. I mean, a good game in limited action for the rookie there. Exciting stuff. Next week, definitely a must win. Thinking about that game, I'm thinking about who's going to really kill us. And I'm really hoping it's not the 2 rookies that they drafted in the first round. They're 2 edge rushers. There's the OH in the chat coming through now. The IO for Henderson. We'll keep our eye on him moving forward. Of course, on the defensive side of the ball, they just drafted him, Pierce. Praying he doesn't come in to, absolutely kill us. Of course, he hasn't done much thus far in his young career. Of course, playing behind other guys, much like the Panthers' young edge rushers have so far, with Princely Lumalainen coming into the game and getting his first career sack, and it was a big one too, a 10-yard sack. Finally getting play. Thank you, Evero. My goodness. Latham Ransom also getting play a little bit more in this one. Was our second highest graded defender on Pro Football Focus. So shout out. But yeah, looking at their defenders, it is, yes, James Pierce, who everyone thought, hey, and Jalen Walker, who both guys, people were like, hey, the Panthers should draft one of the two. And we drafted another two and drafted McMillan, and that looks to be the complete correct decision. Couldn't have been a better decision. He's my GOAT. I love Tedros McMillan. I think he's going to be our version of Mike Evans, but actually ascend into that like proper elite tier like Mike Evans never really could, where he was always the best of pretty good and never the elite. Like a guy like Davante Adams. It's funny. I saw this post online of Davante Adams versus Mike Evans, and who would you rather have? When you compare their career statistics, Mike Evans has better stats. He has more catches in less games, more touchdowns, more yards. But Davante Adams had 4 to 5 years there where he was legitimately the best wide receiver on the planet and was like practically untouchable. And Mike Evans has never been that in the NFL. And that's what the post said. And it's really, what do you value? And honestly, part of me values that Mike Evans more, because you know for a fact what you're going to get. That 1,000 yards every year, and it's going to be consistent. And the Buccaneers, for 10 years now, have had a consistent passing offense. Large in part because of him, and then Chris Godwin helps that. Now, would you rather Mike Evans or Julio Jones? Julio Jones, obviously. Duh. That's what I'm hoping we got here in Tedros McMillan. More a Julio Jones level guy than a Mike Evans level guy. But if that's what, in my head, his floor and ceiling are, then we're cooking with fire here. So that first home game, it's going to have to be a good one. Of course, when we shift over to the after hours show, it's still going to be the same. We're still going to have our topics that I go over. We might shorten the topics based on how much we have to talk about. I won't always stretch it to an hour like I do for this show. But the biggest thing will be it's going to be later on. So, and it can be on weekends, as when I do baseball commentary, it is at noon and it is at 3. If you do want to listen to me do baseball commentary, you can do so at the Warloo Warriors baseball account. I will be on tonight at 7:30 p.m. for a game tonight in Guelph. Of course, facing off against the Guelph Griffins. And what should be a very good baseball game. I'm very excited for. And then, so Saturday night, I guess Friday night, Saturday night, we will have some after-hours shows and really discuss... Sorry, microphone. Just hit my microphone. And really get into what I'm going to do for the next Panthers bet, as the video that will come out at the end of the year will have a compilation of me talking about my bets. It will have probably little skits, hopefully, if I'm, not lazy. And it should be a fun time, regardless of me losing money. So far, $2 down. Look to get up next week. The goal on the year is, of course, to finish with as much money as I started, 17. So I can lose every bet of the year and go 1-16. But just so long as that one bet wins me $17, then we win the challenge. So if we do get to week 18 of the season, when I have $17 or when I have however many in my account. If I have $1, if I have $5 left, I'm probably gonna bet everything left and try to get up to 17. Just, have a little bit of a Hail Mary, make a little bit of excitement, and we see there in the chat. Can't wait for the live breakdowns of AEW this week. I think tomorrow I'll do the after hour shows 7 to 8, and then I'm going to head over to watch the show as I usually do with my dad, and then we'll do a dedicated show Thursday for it. But tomorrow's show will be a dedicated show for AEW Collision, which will be very exciting. So we won't be doing watch-alongs with AEW, as I do still want to, have that time for myself. I would rather spend time watching that with my dad than watching that alone for a live show. But we will have now AEW dedicated days on the After Hour show Wednesdays leading into Dynamite. We'll talk about Collision and then Dynamite, and then on Thursdays, Dynamite dedicated show. So, can't wait for the live breakdowns. And then, of course, tomorrow we're not doing a watch along because, we will be there. And I will be there live with my dad and my brother. Cannot wait for that. But moving forward for the After Hour show, it will be 7 p.m. Start time to whenever I feel like ending it. And then, so on Wednesdays, it'll, of course, be 7 until I leave to go watch Dynamite with my family. So, big changes coming for the Sports Hour. Thank you, everyone who has tuned in so far to this point. We're over 3 weeks. Well, we're over a month in, basically, at this point. But we've done over 3 weeks' worth of content, and I can't wait to keep it rolling. No matter which direction, which shape it takes. In person in London Dynamite tomorrow. So Thursday, the After Hour show is going to be extra special. Extra special Thursday, the After Hour show with Curtis Collings. I cannot wait to talk about it because, yes, it looks like it's going to be unreal. It is the September to remember for AEW and a special 3-hour show that looks like a pay-per-view. So we will... I cannot wait. So tomorrow, no show because I'm going to go straight from work to London. But Thursday, everything changes. Everything flips on its head as we talk about what might be the best Dynamite of the year. So make sure you stay tuned and stick around on the Collings Thode network. Of course, if you don't know, the Thode part of the Collings Thode network, Nolan Thode, has started writing articles about hockey. Go over to NJT Hockey, or it's NJ Thode Hockey, one of the two. Let me make sure I get this right, because I am going to plug this as correctly as I can. It's njthockey.com. Make sure you go there if you want to read some season previews and anything else about hockey for this upcoming season. I know I'll be reading it all year long, most likely talking about on the show. So thank you for tuning in to the 115 to 215 edition of Curtis Collings Presents the Sports Hour. If you want to hear my voice more today in a live setting, you can do so. Waterloo Warriors Baseball, 7:30 p.m. Waterloo faces off against Guelph. Thank you very much for tuning in today,